Don't wait for tomorrow. Live for today. Keep chasing the sunshine and go out and play.
All right, good day, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to another JK Deal Reveal. Now, today, a couple of very important announcements. So, pay attention. First, very important announcement is our magical mansion in Florida is 100% completed and has already accepted its second booking to date. But don't freak out too much so far. These are test bookings, so we're making sure all the systems are strong, and we might just squeeze in 1 or 2 5-star reviews to get the momentum going. So very exciting. It is live, and you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer because we are going to reveal in full, in length during our upcoming epic virtual bus tour of in Florida. And on that note, second announcement, we are actually going to be revealing a secondary market in Florida during this bus tour. And so that's all I'm going to say. It's not only going to be those gated communities in proximity to Disney. There is going to be another short-term rental market, a little bit lower price points than what we were looking at, but for similar returns. So about half the price, half the returns, but still double what you might find in Canada. So very exciting nonetheless. So those are 2 big announcements, and so we hope to see you. I got more announcements though. Announcement 3, I actually have COVID right now. And so if my energy level is a little bit lower than usual, please forgive me. I will do my best nonetheless to power through. It's a lot better than it was a couple days ago, but still I am powering through this for you. And last 2 announcements. My God, there's a lot to cover this week. As of next week, next Wednesday, we are launching for the very first time JK's Key to Castle program. What is the Key to Castle? It's a step-by-step, week after week for 3 months, how to buy that castle property in Florida or in Arizona or wherever you want to buy that luxury or semi-luxury short-term rental property. Well, the Key to Castle is the program to do that, which we are launching our first cohort next week on Wednesday. So if that's of interest to you, you know how to reach us. info@nowfortomorrow.club. So let's see who we have on today. Yes, wonderful. Thank you, Laurie. Appreciate the love. Sandra, yes. Dwight, nice to see you. Fantastic. Who else do we have on here? Let me go to the other screen. Brad, Brian, Gunnar, Julio, Mark, Ryan. It keeps going. I love it. Teresa, Trina, you're on too. Nice to see you here. Fantastic. So we've got a lot going on. Julio is back. I love it. And so, very last announcement, we are on YouTube now. So come check us out. Subscribe to our YouTube page where we are posting some of the very first deal reveals that we have ever done. And that was over 2 years ago. All right, so there's been a lot of deals since we first got started. And you'll get to see, did this rocket science change? Or is it all pretty much the same fundamentals? The price is radically different. What's happening? Anyways, you can go check us out, JK's Real Estate Partners, and smash that like and subscribe button. There it is. First time I ever said that. How'd I do? All right. So today we're getting excited because we're at the deal reveal here. And today we have a deal for under $35,000 in good old Cleveland. And we want to see lightning fast if this is a deal or no deal. So this deal was submitted by Brandon. Okay. It is a duplex for $35,000. And we're going to see what are the pros and cons of this in the next couple of minutes. So start your timers. Off we go. This is what it looks like. All right. So the porch needs a couple of stilts to stay up. But overall, well, we're going to check it out. Remember, your role here is to say, is this a deal or no deal for you? Is there a certain price point that makes this a deal? And are there other factors to consider? So very first thing we do, right? We copy paste that address and we follow it by Trulia. And that brings us to a page much like this one, where we can get some extra pictures. We get to see it's a 4-2. So that's a duplex happening here. And let's take a picture because of those big stilts. We want to see maybe this is a gut job, right? So let's take a look and see what we are really looking at here. So from the front, we do see that there's those nice big supports. We see that, the general state, there's a little bit of buckling happening. It's certainly not turnkey. We see that there is work to be done on the outside in general, right? So be that as it may, right? Not exactly the most level of affairs here, right? The chair, like even the chair is crooked here. So, but overall, not crazy, other than the structural repair of the porch, which could easily be 15,000 just the porch. I'm just throwing a number out there. It's not like it's going to be a $500 repair, right? So we'll definitely need to get a better sense of what's happening on the inside. We do have some what is considered a little bit more than cosmetic work happening. We got the porch. We do about that. What else do we have? Real quick, just getting a good sense of what's happening, a quick sense of what's happening here. Nice little backyard setup. Not very many inside pictures here, right? But just with the couple of holes we saw on the inside, it's most likely not going to be a small renovation. So just ballparking this, the outside probably has 15,000 due to that pork and the other things, and that may be on the low side to consider. On the inside, there's definitely more than simple cosmetic, and this is a duplex. It's got a lot of square footage. So the inside, we haven't seen very much, but for this to be under 20,000 on the inside would be surprising just based on what we saw. If those are the pictures that they're showing to market the property, you can just imagine. So it could be quite significantly higher. So right here, right out the gate, I'm looking at this, and this is probably not under a $40,000 renovation, just to put that in there. Okay, so they're asking 35. Trulia says it's worth about 45. And there are long-term tenants willing to stay. Okay, so very first thing, I want to get a sense of what this property might be worth, right? So let's go check out some comparables. We can go to Zillow or Redfin to see. Zillow's estimating it to be worth 40,000. So even though they're asking 35, that's fine. But after you probably put in another 40,000, we'll be way above market value on this property. So already there, we're not starting in the best of places. We have the range here, a very tight range for this neighborhood in Zillow. And it did have a little spike up to 60,000. We do see the general trend, but before we get to 80,000 or 75,000, no, we're definitely paying more than market value. So this better be a very strong cash flow generator. We've got other for sale properties in the 50, 65, 65,000. These are 4.2s. Not sold, but for sale. So not as strong a comp as I'd like to see. If there are any other ones here on the map, we do see that there are some in the 60s and 70s. Okay, so that's hopeful. There's some 80s in there too. So there's hope for the market, the general area. But overall, I would be surprised if this property, after we fix it up, be worth anything more than 80. Based on what I'm seeing here. So first rule of real estate, buy at a discount, not looking like it's happening so much. Second place is we want to make sure if there's cash flow, right? So this property is a 4.2 because it's 2 times 2 ones, right? It's a duplex. So there's two bedrooms. And so we're going to see what type of rents we can get out of a 2-bedroom in this area. And we have here our subject property, and it's surrounded by blues, which are average rents, and greens, which are below average rents. We see the reds are quite far from the property, and this is an apartment, 2-bedroom, and so I'd be much more on the lower side. So basically, the tenants that are there currently are probably paying about 600, 650. And if you were to just buy it, do the very, very bare minimum to just solidify that porch and kind of just put the duct tape where it needs to go, you're probably going to be closer to this area on rent, 650, 675, 700. It would be pushing it based on this data and based on the condition we saw. But if you go in there and do the full renovation, as you probably should, or you don't want to be a slumlord, you don't want to have a property in disrepair, and it's going to cost more in maintenance anyways. Then after your repairs, you're probably going to be closer to the average. Okay. So let's say we are looking at this to go basically to go get that average rent. So we have 750 a month, 12 months, and there's two of them. There's a duplex. This is in Cleveland, so taxes are rather low. So I'm going to take a 40% expense ratio because we're in Cleveland and it's a multifamily. So I'm expecting about 10,800 a year if I bought this cash. If we bought it cash for 35 and put in 40 into it, let's say we put 35, so total of 70,000 into it. We're at a 15 cap. Okay, we're at a 15 cap, but it was a significant project, pretty big job to handle, all things considered, and we're paying above market value. So we might have the cash flow on one side, but on the other side, we might be paying a little bit more and getting into a larger project than what we could probably find something with lower work around for more of a discount. So we got some pros and cons going on. One thing though that we didn't talk about was the area. Okay, and this is one that I've been glossing over it for the last couple deal reveals because our Trulia, right, used to have a nice crime map, and it's not looking like it's coming back, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately. So what I did today is I put a nice little sampler of different websites that you can go to get a sense of what's happening in terms of crime in areas that you're looking for, because it's a very important factor. I was hoping that the criteria would, this button would come back, but it's not. So you can go to a couple of places. Okay, here we go. The very first one, which I would say is the best one, but the most expensive, is Neighborhood Scout. So here, if you pay like $100 a month, you can get a whole ton of data on the property. Okay, you get general crime indexes, neighborhood ratings. You get to compare it to the violent crimes, the property crimes. You get to compare it, on many different angles in terms of crime, comparing it to the state, comparing it to the city, comparing it to this neighborhood and this zip code. So you get a lot of different angles to your data. But you can see here right now, everything is locked other than the state, right? You got the national average and then the state, and that's pretty much all you get. But it's a good source of data if you're interested and if you really want to dial down. Then you have another one called Area Vibes. Area Vibes. And here again, a lot of it could be locked, right? But they give you some generals like amenities. Basically, it's more of a livability assessment website, but one of those criteria is crime. And we can see for this particular neighborhood, it's pretty bad, right? It's got the F rating on crime. It's a lot higher than the national average in all respects. It's even higher than Cleveland. So of the Cleveland, which Cleveland does have higher crime, as you probably know, well, this is one of the worse than average in the Cleveland area. So definitely to be considered in our calculations before we start investing. So we have, for example, here, what I like about Area Vibes, it gives you a little bit more information for free. We have the total crime and violent crime, national, state, city, and that particular sector. All I did here is I put in the property's address at the top, and I clicked enter, and off we go. We have the scores that come out. So we basically see here that this particular area is 3 times higher in crime than the national average, right? 7,000 to 2,400 about, and it's a little bit higher than the Cleveland average. And in violent crimes, you can see it's quite a bit higher than the national average and still higher than the Cleveland average. So that gives you, and then there's property crime as well. So more than double the national average and a good 25% above the Cleveland average. So maybe crime doesn't scare you at all. Maybe it does factor into your equations, but it gives you a lot of different ways to look at it. Here's an F rating, and here's just general. Maybe you don't want violent crimes in your, no murder, please. And that's that you get to choose, but this is important data nonetheless, especially if you are sensitive to it. Here's another one. ADT.com/crime. Here's another one where you can just put in the property's address, and it gives you very, very little information, but you can just basically see that we're in this area. You can click anywhere, boom, and it just picks out one little piece of data that in this area, we're 5 times higher than the national average in terms of crime. Very quickly, you can get a good sense, and you can also look in neighboring parts. Oh, here is 1.47. Here we're almost 6 times in this area. In this area, again, almost 6 times over here. So you can click the different areas and get a sense of where we are at. See, in Euclid, for example, a little bit less. So that's another one, ADT.com/crime. And last one I'm going to bring to your attention today is spotcrime.com. Now, what I like about Spot Crime is it gives you another map after you put in the address of the property, and you can see visually. It's not a heat map like we used to have on Trulia, which was really nice, but it does give you the type of crimes and the proximity of the crimes, and also a nice little scroll down so you can see right in real time. This was this morning at 7:30 on Forest Avenue, which is right here, that there was a crime reported here, and the proper subject property is right here. So we do see that in this little, like, these are cul-de-sacs, right? And these at the end. So there's not much happening in the cul-de-sacs, but you can see right near the main drags, and here there's a lot of crime activity. So just this morning, right, between 3 a.m. and that, there was 4 or 5 calls, a little bit more, 7, 8, oh good Lord, calls just this morning in this very narrow sector. And obviously then there's yesterday and the day before. So this is an active area. Okay, so you're able to see this type of data online rather quickly. I'm taking the time to show you all different types of tools, but you're gonna find the ones that you like best, and then you can go to them really quickly to get a sense of the areas. And then maybe South Broadway for you is like, no, I got a good sense of what's happening here. I'm just gonna put an X on any opportunities that come in from South Broadway, for example. So it takes a little bit more due diligence up front when you're vetting whole neighborhoods or whole suburbs, but these are all resources that you can use. What it boils down to when it comes to Janie and myself is management. If management has a concern with this area, because sometimes it is street by street, like maybe this street, Rockwood, is perfectly fine, even though it's pretty close to everything happening here. But this street on Goodman, nope, not Goodman. So we don't go there. The property manager should know a good deal about these areas. They might put an X on the whole area potentially, or they might say, hey, this area is good and bad. I'll do a drive, I'll drive by and I'll tell you if that street is good or not. So it could be as simple as that for you to leverage your team and their local on the grounds experience before you go ahead and buy the property. You got it, Mark. Very good. So that's it. So let me know, is this a deal or no deal for you? Looks like we're paying above market value once the repairs are done. There is some cash flow potential. We seem to be in a rough area. Is this a deal or no deal? Lots of no deals, lots of passes, not for Trina. Got it. Very good. And that is perfectly fine, right? They're not all diamonds. Lori says no deal. The crime is scary. Yeah. In terms of the cap rate, it's a deal. But is that the only criteria, right? The 2 golden rules: buy at a discount, buy cash flow, but there might be some deal breaker criteria like crime. If management doesn't go there, Gunnar, I agree with you. No deal. No bueno, Ryan. You got it. pass until we learn the neighborhoods a little bit better. That's right. So up front, when you don't know your neighborhoods, just ask your investor friendly realtor, ask your property manager or the property managers you're considering, and try to glean as much information as you can from these areas. And if you're active, if you're really looking at properties on a daily basis and you're having conversations, you're going to get to know these areas rather quickly, and you're going to get a sense of where you may or may not want to start investing. So that is it. I think we're all in agreement here that we're pretty far from a deal. If there's one thing you can't fix about a property is location. And so I think the amount of work needed here for the return is not worth the risk. And even if you got a price discount of 30,000 or 25,000, is it going to change location? No. So I agree here. I think even though we have a duplex for $35,000, there may be a better opportunity for you. So that is it. We have successfully gone through another deal reveal, and I want to remind you of our upcoming virtual bus tour, where we are going to be seeing properties completely different than the one we just saw, because we're going to be focused in Florida. And if you're interested, we still have some room in that virtual bus. You can go to jkprograms.club/bus tour to secure your spot. And it's going to be good. We just brought on a new realtor to the team, and she is going to be showcasing a new part of Florida for you all to consider in your investing. Another beautiful opportunity. So we hope to see you there, and we wish you a most beautiful evening. Go get that miracle now for tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Oh, and if you have a deal that you'd like me to reveal, send it my way. We are still open to suggestions. So if you've got a deal that you're considering, just send over the address and off we go. Take care, everyone.